Do one thing very well, or two things, but you're going to do a lot of things well. I don't have an addiction to a sale. When I have some slow days, it's like, okay, I can have another cup of coffee. It's just what it is. Welcome back to SM Postcards. Today I got the normal four little things. I think it's over here. Over here. I get mixed up on which way to go. But the four things: what sold, what I sold on eBay, and I do have a Ko-Fi order going out as well. I'll show you what I did there. Only got, I think, 11 cards, so it shouldn't go too long, but you'll be able to see the variety of the cards, and I got a couple good cards that sold. Then special topic, New Orleans Postcards. The bead throwing people down there on Mardi Gras and stuff like that. We're going to go through some of the information about New Orleans, and you wouldn't believe how many corn fence postcards I found. I'm going to show you a little history on the corn fence, and everybody who's been doing postcards probably seen the corn fence. And where did that come from? I'll talk about that. And then another poll. Number one area of your business you need to improve on. A couple of them are coming up in the same that I did a poll before. It's the same, listing and pricing. But we're going to go through that. I might have some tips for you. It just depends on the individual and what they do and how fast they work with the computers and how they think. It's really up to the individual. And then viewer comments. I got some real quick comments and stuff today to go over. A couple of them about a new selling site. What am I going to do with it and stuff. Go through the what sold, and I'm also going to break down one of the higher price cards I sold just to show you the fees. We're going to walk through the structure a little bit on there. I got a screen print of it. But the first card that sold, was a central system. This was like a painting series of paintings they did on postcards, and it looks like it was torn out of a folder. I had a bunch of these. Some I didn't even list. I just felt this sold for $4.75, and this is the painting of the Lake Erie Railroad Company, Youngstown Sheet and Tube Company. It didn't do a lot for me, so that sold. And we got $4.75. Next one is I sold the Jack Miller DE410 photo, $8.55. It's got the curl to it, just like photo paper, but that's the 1944 is when this was taken. $8.55. Sold the Shangri-La, very historic aircraft carrier, Essex class, CBS 38, Shangri-La, $4.75. This one is the Harbor. Now there's some Fisherman's Wharf at San Francisco. Sold for $4.75. It's a Union Pacific card on there. Want to make sure you sometimes get that in the title just on there. This was posted in 1959. $4.75. Now these next two cards are the ones that sold, and these were, I picked these up probably for less than a nickel, and a while ago, and I finally got to listing them. Both of them are Shriners Parade in Burlington, Iowa. This is the first one, and I got them in rigid holders, and I'll tell you why in a second. And that's the second one. That's the Parade. The two cards here. Each of these cards sold for full price, $17.75, and that's the price I put them on. Now $17.75 together added up to $35.50 for two cards. I'd probably have a nickel in, maybe 10 cents. Worked out pretty well. And how would I ship those? I could put both of these in eBay standard envelope. It's under $20 per item and under $50, right? Well, this guy spent $35. These are nice cards. They're real photos. So I put them in a sleeve and I put them in two rigid holders. I'm going to put them in a waterproof baggie, my normal little bubble wrap thing so it doesn't slide around. And I'm going to stick it on the box, and I'm going to pay the extra $2 to get that shipped for whatever he paid. They paid for shipping to get that out of there. So $35.50 for two cards. So we're going to go through the transaction breakdown this is an eBay of one of these $17.75 cards. The amount was $17.75. The fees were $2.41, so my net proceeds were $15.34 from eBay. And how did they break it down? So if you go down, fees are based on $17.75 Sales tax $1.24. So the customer paid $18.99 for the card with sales tax. Then you get down into final value fees equals $241, $235 for in the collectible category with the fees, but then being top rated seller, you get 10% off, so I got 23 cents back. So it equals $241. So I netted out of eBay $15.34, but now you got to take into the price of the envelope, the shipping, my time, and all that stuff. You got to taxes, everything. So this is the net, but in the end run, what are you going to end up with? There's no promoted listing here. I'm not paying eBay promoted. If I promoted this card at 5%, I'd have to pay like 90 cents to eBay, and I'd only make like $14.45 instead of $15.34. If I did it at 10%, I'd pay eBay another $1.77, and I'd only make $12.93. Then if I promoted 15%, which I've heard some people have done, I'd have to pay eBay another $2.66, and I'd only make $12.68. So I sold these without promoted listing, and they sold just fine. So $35 on there. But I just wanted to show you the breakdown of how they do this, and you can see this in each one of your items that you sell. You know, I netted $15.34, and how did they break down the fees? They did $241 in final value fees. That's not taken in the shipping yet because I haven't shipped it. It's still here. So I take out the shipping, and then I'll even get down a little bit more. But not a bad sale, and that's how it breaks down. You can just go into your order details and see that. But these two cards will go out in a box, nice presentation for them, and hopefully comes back. Next card that's sold for $5.75. It's the VIP College VIP Drill Field, Virginia, Blacksburg, Virginia. White border card, pretty sure. Nope, it's a linen card. It's got the waffle texture, and I can feel it. You can see it. $5.75. This is a print. This is to Sydney, Australia. I've sold a couple of these things I haven't sold in a while. This is the United States Fleet. I think this has to do with the Great White Fleet, that video I did on that. But this is a print. Sold that for $4.75 to Australia. Next one. This card was listed in September 2019. It was in the second box. My oldest cards. I got rid of a lot of those cards during Whatnot and stuff. But this is the Sunday Afternoon Tower Grove Park, St. Louis, Missouri. Divided back card. Posted. Thing's been in there since September 2019. I got I got $6.65 for that card. So you talking about waiting the long tail to get $6, $7? I waited that long. Next person bought two of the Denver, USS Denver, LPD 9. Same card. They're a publisher card. The club bought these from an actual card publisher. So I bought these two cards for a total of $9.50. And that'll go out eBay standard envelope. He got the volume discount that I have. So I had a total of 11 cards worth $91.06. Average sale price is $8.28. So I didn't meet my 14 I want to do a day, but I did meet the $70. I was over by $21. And my average sale price is going up. Now I did have two 100 card lots going out. And all my lots come with sleeves. So if it's 100 cards in a lot, you get a pack of sleeves. If it's 200, you get 2 packs of sleeves. That comes with the deal. And I got 2 of those going out for $36 because they're a member. If they weren't a member of Ko-Fi, they pay $3 or $4 a month. If you pay $3 a month, you get 40% off anything in the store. So these were listed for $30, so it would have been a total of $60. But with the 40% discount, they got $24 off, and they only paid $36 plus the shipping. Even with the shipping, with 200 cards there, they're still under a quarter per card going out. So I have a lot of lots in the Ko-Fi store. So if you add $91.06 for the cards I sold out of eBay, and the $36, not adding shipping. Shipping is totally separate in Ko-Fi. I'm just saying $36, $18 a piece for 100 cards. $36 to the cards 9106. My total for today is 127.06 is what I made on postcards. Still going in the right direction. I'm happy with it. Not overburdened me. That's what's sold. So now we're going to get into the special topic of New Orleans postcards in Louisiana. Southern, Creole style stuff, Mardi Gras, things like that. I'm going to read some stuff here to set a foundation for New Orleans postcards for you. And I'm going to show you some postcards that might have sold or are listed out there for New Orleans. Then we're going to get into the sell-through rates and pricing, and what's this corn fence that I see out there? What's the history of that? We'll get into that. Here we go. New Orleans, a vibrant city in the southern United States, has a rich and colorful history that dates back to its founding in 1718 by French explorer Jean-Baptiste Le Monde. It's got a long name. I'm going to stick it down here. I can't say French. And he was originally named this. La Nouvelle Orleans is what it was. It was originally, the town was originally named, and I'll put that down there too, in honor of the French regent Philippe II. The city quickly became a melting pot of cultures due to its strategic location along the Mississippi River in the Gulf of Mexico. The city's early years were marked by French and Spanish colonial rule, which left a lasting impact on its architecture, cuisine, and traditions. In the early 19th century, New Orleans played a significant role in the United States' expansion westward. The city became a vital port for trade, attracting people from all walks of life, including immigrants, enslaved Africans, and free people of color. The diverse mix of cultures gave rise to unique musical styles like jazz, blues, which continue to define New Orleans' cultural identity today. One of the most significant events in New Orleans history is the Battle of New Orleans in 1815, where American forces led by General Andrew Jackson successfully defended the city against the British invasion during the War of 1812. The victory boosted American morale and solidified New Orleans' position as a key American city. Today, New Orleans is celebrated for its Mardi Gras festivities, Creole-style cuisine, and lively music scene, all of which reflect its rich and dynamic history. Here's 3 facts I found about New Orleans. Cities of the dead. New Orleans is known for its unique above-ground cemeteries, often referred to as cities of the dead. This is due to the city's high water table, which makes traditional below-ground burials impractical. The most famous of these cemeteries is St. Louis Cemetery, number 1, and you've probably seen that postcard many times, where the legendary voodoo priestess Marie Laveau, and I'll put her name down here, believed to be buried. Number 2, historic voodoo culture. New Orleans has a rich history of voodoo culture. Marie Laveau, that lady I just showed you, mentioned above, was a prominent voodoo practitioner in the 19th century and is still revered today. Visitors can explore the New Orleans Historic Voodoo Museum to learn more about this unique aspect of the city's cultural heritage. Yeah, I think I'll skip that museum. Number 3, Mardi Gras beads and throws. Mardi Gras, the famous New Orleans carnival session, is known for its extravagant parades and colorful celebrations. One odd tradition is the throwing of beads and other trinkets from parade floats. What makes it peculiar is that the practice of bead throwing didn't originate with Mardi Gras. It didn't. It actually began in the 1880s when a bead manufacturer used Mardi Gras as a marketing opportunity. Since then, bead throwing has become an integral part of the celebration, with revelers eagerly trying to catch as many beads and throws as possible during the parades. And I know the ladies up on the balconies or down throw beads down to people from the balconies for another reason, is what I heard. But Mardi Gras, New Orleans, Creole, blues, Bourbon Street, all that spells and sings New Orleans to me. But do these things sell? Does New Orleans sell? Postcards sell? Let's take a look. So the little scale here I use, if you've been watching the videos, you know what it is. The red is 0 to 3%. You want to kind of stay away from those. Not saying you won't get a sale in them. The likelihood is a lot less than the other ones. 4 to 7 is average. 8 to 10 is high. That's what I pretty well deal with, is the green there. And then while I'm doing that, I find the 11% and higher, the outliers. I don't hunt down all the outliers. I just go after the average and high. Now, it doesn't mean guarantee a sale, doesn't mean it won't sell. It just gives you another something to use for an educated guess as you're looking for postcards. I take the sold divided by listed times about 100 for the last 90 days on eBay, just to see if cards are moving through. This isn't price, sales, coupons, promoted listings. This just tells you how many cards went through the system. That's it. Nothing magical. And if it falls in one of these ranges, not scientific, not down to the last card, it just falls in one of these buckets to help me out. So I took Postcard New Orleans. There's 2,700 sold, 38,000 listed. A lot of postcards from New Orleans. Times it by 100, round up or down, 7% sell-through rate is at the top of the average. Almost high, but it's still in the average postcard. You take that and you bump it up against a few other things just to make sure where this thing falls and other stuff, because if I just tell you 7%, you have no idea what to measure against, so I always put about 3 or 4 different ones. New Orleans at 7%, but Chicago, Postcard Chicago, with 100,000 postcards, is at 7%. So it's up there with the one I picked here. Atlantic City was another one, another big city, 5%. And then San Francisco with 88,000 cards, 5%. So New Orleans is up there a little bit. That's why it's on the higher end of the average. I don't think it's the most popular cards in the world, but it looks like they do have a 7% selling. So they're an average card. Average weight, average price. Don't pay a lot for them. They're going to move average time. I went through and I've been trying to find some extreme higher price stuff, so we know what the high watermark on postcards are. What's the most do I see out there right now? I found these 3. Postcard, the Sunset Limited Sunset New Orleans to Los Angeles, the train, $124.50. Wow. Something special on that card. I had 4 bids. Someone wanted that card. $124. So if you see Sunset Limited New Orleans, something's going on with that card. Then I found this one, extremely rare, extremely hard to find. Jumbo. This is probably one of the most highest priced jumbo postcards I've seen. I don't deal with the jumbos that often. That's anything that's bigger than Continental is pretty much your 5x8, and I forgot what the specs are, but the bigger postcards, almost 8x10 size sometimes. Postcard, the Puppy House on Bourbon Street, New Orleans. Whatever the Puppy House is, sounds like a tavern or something. $29.50 they got for that jumbo postcard. And I think I have a video about that out there somewhere. Then you got Mardi Gras Festival New Orleans souvenir folder. This is a folder of postcards, I guess. 1913 antique vintage. $32, free shipping. So the high watermark, $30 to $50. It depends on what that is, I guess. These are all pretty well subject based. You got the train, you got the jumbo, the Puppy House, and then you got an older folder. You never know. But there are some very common cards that you're going to come across out there that I see all the time. Some of them I don't list anymore. You got this one. It's like the Ironworks. They show different views of this. This one's got a deckled or scalloped edge around it. That's a very common card. Next one, here's your St. Louis Cemetery, the Cities of the Dead. This card, I've seen it in different versions, tinted versions, and whatever. You see a lot of these. The average card, average price, average sell time. Then you got Antone's Restaurant. I don't know how many of these. I don't even list those anymore. I got so many. I got them in there for the variety, but that's it. I don't put them in the lots. I try not to put them in the lots either. There's so many of those cards. And then you got the patio. This is that patio in New Orleans. I see it all the time. But those are the 4 very common cards. If you come across those, don't spend a lot of time on them. Get them if you want. But if you see a box with a lot of this stuff in there, I would pass. If you can. If there's other cards in the box, you get those and then lot these up or something from New Orleans. But there's one card that I always wondered about, and I took the advantage of this video. It's the corn fence in New Orleans. What is that? So I'm going to give you the history on it. And I found 7 postcards of the corn fence. There could be more. But when I went out there, I found 7 postcards of the corn fence. Some are the same, some aren't. And you notice some of the corn is tinted and some yellow and some not. It's amazing what they do with these cards. But here we go on the corn fence. The New Orleans corn fence, also known as the Creole-style cornstalk fence, is an iconic architectural feature that graces the historic French Quarter of New Orleans. This ornate and whimsical fence, which resembles stalks of corn, was constructed in the mid-19th century by John Mercer, a skilled ironworker. Mercer designed the fence for his wife, Susan, who missed her native Iowa's cornfields. The intricate cast iron design features corn stalks, ears of corn, and even morning glories, reflecting the artistic influences of that time. Today, the New Orleans corn fence stands as a testament to the city's unique blend of cultures, showcasing the artistic flair and creativity that define the architecture of this vibrant and historic city. It remains a beloved symbol of New Orleans, rich cultural heritage, and artistic expression. So if you see the corn fence, it's like the corn palace. There's just tons of them out there in different versions. They use the same image over and over. So that's another very common card, but I thought I would give you the history. Some guy made it for his wife because she missed Iowa back in the early 1900s or the mid-1900s. Average cards. I'm not even doing the lows that much anymore. Everybody knows what they're out there, but what is the watermark? What is the most that you see out there on the average cards? Throw the high out, throw the low out, down the middle. What do you see as a high watermark? So this one, New Orleans, Louisiana, La Pontchartrain Beach. So there's Lake Pontchartrain, which is the huge lake out there with that big long bridge out there in New Orleans. 1999. So Pontchartrain Beach is a beach you want to look for if you see it. So $20. Then here's a postcard, Louisiana, New Orleans, Mardi Gras, King's Float fight. I've seen these King's Float parade ones and stuff like that. This went for 10 bids in an auction for $23.50, so there's something special with that one. It looks, is that a tinted RPPC or no, it looks like an undivided back with a writing tab, but it could be a divided back, depends. But that's not a bad price for that King's Float one. $23. So we're seeing about $20 right now. 1950s Bourbon Street 500 Club, Cat Girl, New Orleans, Louisiana. Took best offer on 19, probably took 15, 17. So 17 to 25 is about where it's going to go on the high water mark. With New Orleans, there's a beach, there's some Mardi Gras, and then there's a tavern. It looks like a club. So very subject based. That's the high water mark, 17 to 25. So that's going to fall in there. But that's New Orleans. Don't get caught up with those average cards. Antonio's, Patio, the Cemetery, the Ironworks, the Corn Fence. They're not gold. Go out there and just look. There's a lot of them out there, and they're very common. But there is some other ones that I showed you here could be there. I bet you real photo postcards for New Orleans would be pretty good. I can't remember selling any of those. But you always want to look at them. But I just wanted to show you that there is a lot of common cards out there, and you're going to get them. There's no way around them. Most of the time I list them, but these I pretty well don't list the 4 common ones. I have enough of them already. I'll lot them up and someone else can list them or do something with them. That's New Orleans. Who knew? Now we're going to get into the poll. And this is a poll kind of on the same trend that I did on the last video, but it is, what is the #1 area of your business you need to improve on? What is one thing in 2024 you really want to improve on? And I picked these 4. Inventory system, packing and shipping, sourcing, or listing, or other. The #1 was listing. Now I would love to break that down a little bit more if people want to put it in the comments. With the listing, is it how long it takes? How many you need to do? Are you going down rabbit holes that you can't get out of? You spend 2 hours, you only listed 10 cards? What is the problem with listing? Maybe I can help or someone else can help on there. Another one they talked about, person in the comments here, was pricing. I just showed you some of the common cards where to be, but are these harder cards? I guess I want to drill down a little bit more on what's the holdup. Are they afraid that they're going to lose 50 cents? What do you got into it? That's probably pretty the listing and pricing is one of the basic things you need to get down if you want to move forward with reselling. If you're waiting for every card to get the last 50 cents or last quarter, I mean, there's people out there cutting flaps on boxes to save 10 cents on shipping or whatever. I mean, if you're at that level all the time, you want to try to work your way out of that. When I sold toys, it was calculated shipping, and I kept the discount. That's just part of it. And shipping's shipping to me. I'm not going to play games of shipping and try to shove stuff in a little bag or something that's made for documents and stuff. I just don't get into that type of stuff. I just want to make it easy. But listing was 61%, sourcing is 28%. I've heard a lot of people having problems trying to find postcards. Are you looking for the real big lots or the small lots? These are very high level things here. A lot of people said they can't find postcards. How far are you going out? I mean, I drove an hour and a half to an auction. I'm planning on driving overnight, a couple nights to some postcard shows and stuff around the country next year, just to get out and get some different collections. I don't want to buy online that much, because that's been picked pretty much a lot of the cards and stuff that I'm looking for this year. But so I don't know listing and sourcing, all the details about it, but listing shouldn't take you that long. If I was going to list this card here, the Signal Tower in Pikes Peak, I noticed Pikes Peak is like the Niagara Falls of the mountains in Colorado. This is an average card, even though it's an undivided back. It probably sells for like $2 on eBay. It'll go up for $4.75. I'll throw it in Terra Peak real quick, or Worth Point, just to see if there's anything out there. But I know that that's an average card. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I can't, because I'm not going to get the money out. Now, if it's a real photo postcard like those parade ones, yeah, I'm going to get a little bit more for it. But you also got to remember how much you got into it. If you can sell it cheaper with a low overhead and you got hardly anything into it, you don't need to wait. You've already got your money. You got your margin on there. So that's what I was thinking about with this. The best thing I liked is packing and shipping was 0. So you guys got that down. I think I got mine down for 2024. I'm always changing things. But it sounds like you guys don't have a problem with that. And your inventory systems, you guys got a system. So you're good there. It's listing and sourcing. So if I can get a little bit more in the comments where people are bogging down, maybe someone can help, or I can help and show you a little something that I do. It might not be the way, it might not fix your problem. It's just the way if you see someone else do it, sometimes you can pick one thing out. I'm always watching videos trying to figure out something new to do or change up what I do. So if I show you what I do or speak about it, just let me know. But I had some comments here. Boldly Grow Pickers, Chris, I definitely need to source less, but of course that's half the fun. Yeah, go out and buying stuff is good. I average about 30 listings a day, and he works full time. So he's doing 30 a day, and he's a full-time employee somewhere. So that's probably 5 days a week, 40 hours a week or more, and he still finds time to do 30 a day. That's not a bad number. That'll grow pretty quick. Thanks, Chris. Thrifty Gals says her number one thing she needs to work on is bookkeeping. Sales minus fees and expenses equals profit. It's really all it is. How much did I sell? How much did it cost me? And what's left over. It's not how much you sell. It's how much you keep. I see a lot of people putting out numbers out there in the YouTube world about eBay reselling, about different things, not just postcards. Hey, I sold all this stuff for $16,000. Well, how much did you keep? That's the key. By the time they're done and over with, do they have a warehouse they pay for? Do they have employees? What did you keep is the big thing. It's nice to see those videos and stuff, but you still want to see what they can. Thanks, Thrifty. Cat D, well, right now, listing and inventory, let's just say I bought too much. Normal problem. They have a TV show about that. It's called Hoarding. Hoarders, I think it's called. I haven't watched it in a while. It's a terrible show. But then it's kind of weird you get caught up in it, I just look at these people and there's something wrong with them. So I'm glad there's people out there to help them. And need to do some lots again. Move some stuff out. Yeah, do whatever you need to do to move stuff out to make you feel comfortable and get back in your space and stuff like that. I've been lighting some stuff up on Ko-Fi, and I got one shelf cleared. Now I got room to put some more postcards. But yeah, just clear it out, working in a clean, comfortable environment, organized, is a good thing for me. Thanks, Kathy. And then Eric said, general workspace organization have to stop the clutter. Yeah, you got to start somewhere. Start in one corner and work around. Every year I go through my office. I start on the left side. I pull things out. I get the vacuum out. I get things done. I throw stuff away. I don't keep things just in case. I want to get rid of it. Either sell it or I just send it to somebody that can. I really don't care what I got into it. I just don't want it around anymore. And you've seen that in my office video, as I keep everything decluttered as much as possible. It does get out of hand once in a while. Like right now my desk is a little bit messy. I got to rearrange it a little bit. But probably call me a freak about it, but it just makes everything easier. It saves money too, because it saves you time and it saves you stuff. You know where everything is. It's all a business. Thanks. Then Grammy said pricing. Yeah, that's another thing, is pricing. How do you price? Just look up comps. Find the high, find the low, go to the middle. If you're waiting for the last dime, 50 cents every quarter out of every card, you're going to be waiting a lot on them. You got to find that ranges. I use a range of $4.75, $5.75, $7.75, $8.75, $10.75, and $12.75. If it goes over $12.75, I set it to the side because I know there's extra stuff in it that I need to look at. The other ones, whatever bucket it comes close to, is what I sell it for, and I don't go below $4.75. I try not to, but that because I want the margin. It can sit over there. I can wait on stuff. The Halloween cards I bought at the auctions, I paid up on some of those. While I'm selling all the other stuff, the ships and boats and all the other ones, I can wait on those. I can wait as long as I want. They're paid for. I can wait on that, but I can't wait on everything else. Otherwise, I don't have the cash flow. But you got to come up with some kind of system. But that's the poll. That's another thing. And I always recommend to people, try not to fix all four of these things: listing, sourcing, packing, shipping, inventory. Just pick one for 2024 for the whole year to work on. Pick on organization. Pick on not sourcing until you get to a certain point. Or pick on listing. What can I do to fix the listing? Why is it taking me so long? So I can't do everything. I can't buy everything, and that's why I don't worry about all these algorithm number hacks and stuff like that. I just want to be organic. I just want to sell postcards. That's it. I'm not worried about all this other stuff and the market, the stock prices. It's out of my control. I'm over all that. If eBay goes away, I'll talk about that in a second. That's the poll. Thanks everyone for participating. Every Saturday, make sure you subscribe, hit the little bell thing, and you get notified when I put these out. But check the community tab. I use it a lot. It's under my channel and community. And these stick out there forever, so people just keep... I get responses all the time from other ones too. Now let's get into viewer comments. Real simple, easy ones is what I picked today. First one was, what would you do if the postcard market tanked or eBay goes away? I don't think it's going to happen either of those. Postcard market's been around forever. It's one of the top 3 collectible things in the nation, worldwide, and I don't think it's going to tank. That ship has been sailing for a long time. I don't even think of that. Or eBay goes away. And by the way, they're not making that many postcards like they did in the past. So what? We're not going to flood the market with it. We're getting a lot of collections that are coming out into the market. A lot of people are moving on. Families don't want them, and they're just selling them off. So we're getting a lot of good stuff back in the market is one positive thing. The bad positive, we're losing all that knowledge and stuff. So I don't see anything with the market. And eBay goes away, or eBay goes away. eBay's not going anywhere. If it does, I'll cross that bridge then. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about what their plans are and stuff. As long as I can list and it says click list and I get money coming in every day, I'm happy. I'm not the CEO of eBay worried about that. And if all those selling sites went away or they jacked it up, I'd just call my auction guy. Hey, I want to do a postcard auction. Here's 100 boxes. Sell them all off. Start over. Do something else. When one door closes, another one will open. If you look for it. How it's been all my life. I left one job, I always went to another job. Left that job, went to another job. Didn't like that job, went to another one. This happened, this door opened. Sometimes you're forced into situations to make your life better. and that's how it works. So don't get hung up on all that stuff. I don't even worry about it. I don't even watch the videos half the time anymore because it's the same old thing. Servers down, this just stuff I don't want to deal with. You don't just list your stuff. There's no magic button out there that says sell my items. You can't force the market, and you can't force people to buy your stuff. You just do the best you can and learn and have fun. Thanks. And then this one came in an email. With the new selling site, District, are you planning on selling there? There's a new thing out there. It's called District, where they have marketplaces. You can do lives and all this other thing. It's called District. And a lot of people have been asking me to sell and do things, and I'm not. I spent all last year getting off all these other sites. I only want to sell on one site and that little Ko-Fi store. That's it. I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. That's fine for me, because 90% of the postcard sellers are on eBay, and over 90% of the postcards out there, everybody goes to eBay. So why sell on these other sites like Bonanza? I still don't understand why people sell on there. Well, I got that one sale for $100. Yeah, for a whole year, but your time, you're turning your head. Do one thing very well, or two things, but you're going to do a lot of things well. I don't have an addiction to a sale. When I have some slow days, it's like, okay, I can have another cup of coffee. It's just what it is. But District, I'm not going to sell on there. I just don't want another site. I don't want to deal with it, and it's too new. I'm not a beta tester. All my years in IT, I didn't do beta testing. They come to me and say, hey, we want a beta test. No, you're not going to put my job and what I do every day. I'm not your guinea pig. I'm not going to test your stuff. Go find somebody else. I had a hard no on that. An alpha test. That's like raw code. They come into a major business like we had and say, we want to beta test this on your site. We'll give it to you for free. Leave. I don't want to deal with companies like that. They know better. We have a test system. We can put it in the test system, but you need to pay us for our time to do that. But I have people I got to pay and do things. We can do other things. Not make their business better, make ours better. So no, I won't be on District. And some people say, well, you're missing the boat. I've missed so many boats, I would be late anyway. Thanks for that comment. And then the next one, I had to replace my Epson 400 scanner and bought the new 580. That's good. I wonder what happened to your 400. That things work forever, unless you scratched it or something. I was having a heck of a time with the settings and found your video. Well, that's good. I downloaded the settings from your Ko-Fi, and have never been better. Beater? Never been better. Thanks so much for the sharing, JK. So that came as a response to someone bought the scanner and they couldn't get it really to work and stuff, and then I guess they maybe searched YouTube or whatever, and they found my video on the 580, and then they went into the Ko-Fi store, and I have this out there. I got all three scanners. I got the newest 580W and the 400. The settings are pretty well the same. I would say they are the same, pretty much in there, those two documents, but I do break it out in two different documents, and then I have the small one, the 60W settings as well, to help people out. And so far, no one's come back and said there's better ones that they had, and I've been waiting for that because I want to test them, because those are the ones I used on my scanners, and so far it seems like they seem to be working. So, but that's the comments. Keep sending them in. Don't forget about show and tell. Got anything out there? I got a couple things yesterday. I'm just putting them in a bucket. When I get 3 or 4, I'll put them in the show and tell on there. And remember, send me the polls. Any questions you want me to put out there. You got any questions about postcards, send them to me, and I'll see if I can put it in a poll. And if you want to give me your selections, that's fine too. And I might reward it, and I'll let you know if I get it out there. I'm looking to fill a couple months with your poll questions, not just mine. So that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget those bead throwing postcards, New Orleans. Here's some more fish. Bye.